Hello, and welcome to another session of the June Jumpstart. And we are going to talk today about some healing conversations and aspects of what that looks like in a journey to become better in relationships with others. And that could be your spouse, that could be your children, that could be your parents, that could be with your friends, co-workers, anyone that you are around that you have consistent interaction with. And these skills will help you develop more of your self awareness to make us become better at who God wants us to be. So, one of the aspects of healing conversations is a thing called active listening. And active listening is a wonderful skill that you need to add into your life. It's going to help you have scope and understanding of those things beyond yourself and allow you to see the heart of someone else. So, this is learning to communicate with others in a more healthy way, and healthy way is the emphasis here. And this is a presentation by myself, Joy McGarr. Okay, let's get into this and let's talk about what active listening is. What is active listening? And so we want to have a good definition here. Active listening is about communicating. It's a tool to use to go beyond hearing what the other person is saying by learning to focus on their words and being able to reiterate back to them that you understand what they are communicating. Now, when we usually have contact with other people, we often will be so consumed with our response that we're not listening to the other person. We want to be quick to defend ourselves and be quick to defend what we want to say. That sometimes we lose valid information being communicated by the other person. And so active listening really helps us to stop being selfish in essence, and so self-focused that we cannot hear what others are trying to communicate to us. So let's talk about some steps to active listening. Uh, this really helps us go beyond just verbally. It goes non-verbally as well. And we need to also pay attention to signs of body language. 80% of communication between people is not actually with the mouth. 80% is with body language. So we really need to make sure that we are listening to others, not only what they say, but what they do and how they pronounce themselves. So in order to do this effectively, we need to help people feel heard and valued and respected, not just to be responded to. And so this is a step-by-step process. So let's talk about these steps. The first one is being fully present. This means that we pull away from distractions. That means we don't have our phone in our hand while we're trying to talk to people. They're trying to communicate something important to us, and you just can't resist the scroll. It's just very disconnecting. Or turn off the TV or, computer, like being focused on the computer. You really actually need to make eye contact with this person. I think eye contact is one of the most important parts of effectively listening to someone and making sure that they feel seen and heard. So making eye contact with them. So being fully present also means giving your own communication with body language. If it's your spouse, leaning in slightly and letting them really understand that you're being fully present and that you are here, not occasionally. Give nonverbal cues that you're showing that you're engaged. If they are expressing something that has really got them nervous, reaching out a hand if it's appropriate, and calming them by giving them a hug or just engaging what is appropriate for you and that person. You can say something along the lines like, I'm here. I want to understand what you're feeling. I want to fully be present in this moment while we're communicating. So then the next one is listen to understand, not to fix. So don't just jump in with advice or to go straight to judgment. Listen with the intent of you're wanting to understand what they're trying to communicate to you. So let the other people finish out their thought without interrupting them. And it is so important. Sometimes, if you're that person, and I've been that person, where where they're going in the conversation and you just start finishing the conversation for them to kind of hurry them along. But sometimes people just need to say words. And if they need help expressing it, they can verbally give you that cue of, I need help with this. But the first thing that you need to do is to not just jump in with advice or judgment or, you're there to listen. And so also focus on what they're really saying, both in words and emotions that are underneath those words. And it can be difficult sometimes for people that are very emotional, but they are not as perfected at putting those emotions into words. And hopefully you can help them with that over time and healing. And another healing part of the relationship is giving them, especially young people today, teenagers, that phase where they're experiencing so many emotions at one time. And sometimes it's just really hard for them to put that in words. So keep that in mind. You can ask something like, while they're having, maybe struggling in that conversation, you can say, well, what's the hardest part of this for you? What is the thing that is the hardest part for you? And a lot of times it's just a specific subject or a specific moment. And then if you can get them to articulate what that hardest part is, then you can get them to the center of what they're trying to communicate to you. Okay? Next one is reflect and rephrase. So repeat back what you heard in your own words to check for clarity. It's not necessarily parroting exactly what they said, but rephrasing it in your own words so that you can say something like, so what I hear you saying is, and then you repeat back to them in their own word or your own words of what you feel they are trying to communicate to you. And this is about clarity. This is about you having an understanding of what they're saying. And this is a key component to where if you are mishearing them, if you are not understanding clearly through their words what they're saying to you, and you're saying, well, what I hear you saying is this, and then they can say yes or no. They can say, no, that's not what I'm saying. And then you can say, okay, well, let's reflect a bit. Let's go back and let me rehear some points. So say it maybe in a different way so that I can really because I really want to fully understand what you're trying to tell me. And so once you get there, you can say something like, so you felt such and such when that happened. Is that right? And again, you're asking for clarification. Am I correct in what I'm perceiving? Because this is the correction phase that has to be vital for every relationship. Because we always can walk away miscommunicating and talking at each other. And what in the counseling world we talk about turning away from each other and not toward each other. And it can be very difficult for us to get that understanding. So when we correct, when we ask, when we say, am I correct in what I'm hearing you say? So this also helps the speaker feel validated and ensures that you understand them correctly. And so you could say something like, It sounds like you were hurt when I didn't follow through. Is that right? Or when I was late, or when I just ignored your feelings. Is that right? And then that gives you the perspective to move forward. All right, next one is to ask open ended questions. Now, this is, takes a little bit of practice. We do this in counseling all the time. These are the questions that are not yes, no, short, abrupt answers. Okay? Avoid the yes no questions. They can shut a conversation down, especially when you're trying to talk to your teenager, you're talking to your spouse, and they're being very defensive. The closed ended questions will just shut a conversation down, like, leave me alone. But if you use questions that invite deeper sharing, something like saying, can you tell me a little bit more about that? What do you need from me right now? What do you feel like you need from me right now? Um, or you can say something when you feel them closing the door. You can say something like, "I just want to understand you better, and I want to know what's going through your mind right now." And so when you ask open-ended question, it invites dialogue. Okay, so it's not a monologue where you're barking orders all the time, and they're just kind of sitting there checked out. Uh, it needs to be a dialogue. Two people, dia meaning two people engaging in a conversation there. Okay. Next one is validate their emotions. So you don't have to agree to acknowledge what someone else feels. You don't have to say that, if they are in despairing, like my little boy, sometimes he will get so frustrated when he wants something really badly, but I know that it's not good for him at that moment, or it's not good for him, period. And so I have to not just shut him down with a I said no kind of situation. I have to walk him through that and just say, all right, buddy, I know this is how you feel and it's making you sad and you're having sadness in your heart, but this is what mommy feels is best for you. And I know it makes you sad. Do you want mommy to hold you? Do you want me to give you a hug? Stuff like that. Kind of walk him through what he doesn't understand. And again, we're shaping little humans with these little ones. And so it's not, even when they're not feeling, we don't want to agree with what they are wanting. It doesn't mean that we disregard how they feel in that moment. So we show empathy by naming the emotion and affirming their right to feel that. I know you feel sad. I understand why that would break your heart, and I know it doesn't make sense right now. So, uh, but this is what you need or whatever. But we're gonna sit in this feeling, and I know you're sad. So you can say things like, "It makes sense that you feel this way. I can understand if it hurts your feelings," or especially an adult to an adult, since I was very much dialoguing about kids there. But if they are saying, "Well, I was really hurt by something that you said, or how you made me feel." And then when you reflect on it, be like, "Ooh, I would feel that way too. So I'm sorry for that." Or it would say, or you could say something like, "That sounds really painful. I'm sorry that you have to carry that right now." And just kind of walk through that emotion with them. Validate that they are feeling something or feeling a certain kind of way. And then once you validate that, then correction comes much easier when a person feels validated. Okay? And then the next one is know when to pause. Sometimes the best response is silence and presence. Sometimes it's just not saying anything and just being a friend that is consistent and is able to sit with them in their emotions. I know sometimes as ladies sometimes we just want to be heard. We don't necessarily want advice. We just need to vent out emotions and how we're feeling. And then sometimes when we get it out, it's just so much better just being able to release it. So have that realization. Give them some space to think, feel, and then they can continue when they're ready. Not when you're ready, but when they're ready to move forward. And if it's a person that tends to be stuck in a certain area or tends to not want to move on, pray with them and just say, you know what, we're going to continue to pray about this together. And we'll ask the Lord to help us with this one. Um, then, if tension rises, take a brief pause and come back when you're both calmed down. So, if it's an escalating conversation and it just seems like you can't even agree to disagree, there's sometimes just healthy times for the sake of relationship that you walk away sometimes and allow things to be what they need to be. And it's not always about being right in the sense of I'm going to die on this hill, but I want to have relationship, and it doesn't mean that you have to agree with me 100% in order to be a relationship with me. So listening isn't just what you do in the moment. It's about how you respond afterwards. And if they need to, if they've expressed a need, then you need to honor it. You need to follow through with an action or a conversation. You can say something like, "Thank you for sharing that with me, and I'm going to work on being more mindful of that." Okay, because we've all got work to do. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go on to the next section, and let's talk um, about what these details will look like. So benefits of learning active listening skills. So what are some of the benefits? There's a marked improvement in communication. There is so much more there, and you can actually enjoy conversation with these people as long as you know how to keep things in a healthy perspective. The next one is stronger relationships that will last. Instead of just, I don't understand why people keep walking away from me. I don't understand why, I can't maintain a friendship, or I feel like I have no one in my life. Nobody sticks around. Maybe it's, again, how we're communicating, how maybe we need to reconsider how we present ourselves. Because when we become intentional about helping others and in affirming others and making them feel loved, they will want to stay around. The next one is it will enhance problem solving. I mean, this is kind of a no brainer, but more things will get solved when we all have a better attitude and a better approach to communication. And so this is great in the area of fixing. And then we can move forward not only to have good problem solving, but things will become easier because then you have more of a healthy relationship with this person or persons. And you're able to dialogue so much better. And it helps create a good, safe space for healing relationships. Increased engagement with healthier conversation. Again, you will talk more. So it's not just about having these conversations, but you will increase your engagement with healthier conversations. And then you're teaching them as well how to have healthy communication with others as well. And hopefully it's that domino effect where we all start, when we do our own work, it can do that domino effect and help others see themselves. Okay? So relationship building is something that we know can start today, and you'll see results. So consistency in these daily practices reinforces the idea that healing conversations are not one-time events, but a continuous journey toward nurturing yourself and others, toward healing relationships. It helps us have more understanding. We extend the grace to others that we have been given, and God has given us so freely. How patient is our loving Father with us when He listens to our prayers and really cares about what happens to us. And so I hope you have found this helpful today, and I really would love for you to comment below and see how this has helped you. If you start doing this and you start noticing some changes, feel free to leave a comment. All right, I pray that you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.